Hello guys, Matthew here and welcome back again to the TechTick YouTube channel. Next to the H440, the S340 is probably one of the most famous chassis in NZXT's offering, and just like with the H440 on account of its sheer popularity, NZXT decided to spice the S340 series a bit with giving it that extra something, and today I have exactly that in front of me, the S340 Elite series, with that extra something being its tempered glass side panel. The product packaging is a little bit different compared to your usual budget chassis and those classic cardboard boxes. You can see that we have a couple of color pictures of the S340 Elite with a complete build inside it as an example, which is a rare sight, while on the side you will find a brief overview of its main features. Removing the chassis out of the box, right away you will be greeted by this very clean looking exterior, dominated by this big tempered glass side panel. It has this cool angular cut and finish of the outer edges, as well as this black frame-like paint job for better aesthetics and consistency. As you would guess, it's really reflective, almost to the point that it's hard to see what's inside, especially on a direct sunlight, but okay, that's probably not a real user scenario. The rest of the chassis panels have this very smooth rubber-like finish, which especially pops out on the front panel, while the overall build quality is well above average. On the top you will find your usual set of ports and buttons, starting from the power on switch, audio in and out jacks, two added USB 2.0 ports which regular S340 series doesn't have, and two USB 3.0 ports, coupled with an uncommon add-on of a HDMI pass-through intended for VR users, so they can connect their VR headsets more easily. If you already saw the original S340, you probably know that NZXT went with a single 120-140mm top exhaust fan mount, and that's why we have this pretty clean looking surface on that top side. The right side panel is also completely clean, so overall you'll get this very familiar and trendy minimalistic design approach. Backside reveals your standard layout of cutouts, power supply being on the bottom, IO shield next to the 120mm fan mount spot, and below that 7 expansion slots. Removing the tempered glass side panel is fairly easy. You have these bolt-like caps which can be undone just by hand. There's a total of 4 of them, one in each corner. They have a rubberized padding on the other side so you don't scratch the glass, while NZXT put these rubber ring fittings on the screws so the glass can sit better and doesn't fall off even if put upright. Finally, after revealing the interior, you can see that we have this already familiar layout from the S340 series with an ATX motherboard tray and its big cutout in the middle for easier cooler installation, while right beside that you can also see this raised up metal bracket for hiding the cables which are coming to the motherboard. I had zero hiccups or issues during component installation, motherboard standoffs were already pre-installed, so everything went really smooth. One thing that also pops out is the metal power supply chamber cover on the bottom, which fully expands from the front to the back, covering everything which is not visually appealing, like access cables. On it you will find cutouts for the cables, like ones coming from the front panel or for the graphics card, together with these breathing holes for the drive cage beneath that shroud. And speaking of the drives, here we have a total of 3 2.5-inch drive trays, one extra on the front side compared to the original S340, which puts it on display. Front side has your usual mounting spots for fans and radiators, and the S340 Elite in particular can take up to 280mm radiators coupled with 140mm fans, or any other combination in sizes below those ones. Here I have the 240mm NZXT's X52 all-in-one water cooler installed with its fans. My review of it will be up in the next couple of days. You can find the link in the top corner or in the description box below, and you can notice that there's still plenty of room for a decently sized graphics card, although the chassis itself is a bit shorter than your regular mid-tower ATX model, since it doesn't have any 5.25-inch trays or drive cages. The maximum length for a graphics card with radiator and fans installed is 334mm or 364mm without it, while the CPU cooler height can go up to 161mm. Opposite of that, on the other side in the upper corner you will find few cutouts for the motherboard 8-pin EPS power, fan and other cables, together with two pre-installed 120mm fans which run on a Molex splitter adapter. Because of that they can get pretty loud since they are running at full speed, so my advice to you is to connect them directly to the motherboard for better fan control. Opening up the right side panel by undoing 2 thumb screws, you'll get access to the bottom chamber, revealing a spot for the power supply on the right, which actually needs to be installed with the fan facing down since there's no intake holes above it, and that's why you'll find a dust filter on the bottom outer side of the chassis, together with 4 very tall stand-up feet for better air intake and with thick rubber padding. Coming back to the chamber, on the left you can see that we have a non-removable dedicated drive cage for up to 2 3.5-inch drives. Down there you can also tuck away your access cables, and speaking of that, this model has all the necessary tools and predispositions for a really good cable management. Before all, we have these plastic clip sets within that cover shroud from the other side, and right next to that, on the back tray of the motherboard, we have yet another set of those same clips. They are doing a great job of guiding cables and keeping everything tidy, although I would love to see them made a bit stronger since they can easily pop out. Overall, there is more than enough room for doing a clean job, even in case if you have a lot of cables, like here in my example, where I've used a fair amount of SATA power cables, while there's plenty of space between the back side of the motherboard tray and the right side panel. The front panel is easily pulled off since it doesn't have any cables running through it. Here you can see the dust filter, which has 2 magnet points on the top and 1 latching point on the bottom, and it can even be removed with the front panel being on, but it's a bit difficult to put it back in. Here you will also get access to the installation rails and mounts for radiator and fans. Closing everything back up with all components put inside, I'm really loving this clean look style combined with tempered glass, with all the hardware being visible and on display, giving you the feel that you can just reach out and touch it, although I would not recommend you to do that actually, since it's a fingerprint magnet. Of course, all of this has its own premium price tag, which in the end represents a pretty hefty price difference between it and the regular NZXT's S340 series. Lastly, as a bonus add-on, NZXT is bundling with the S340 Elite this rubberized magnet headphone holder, which goes on the front panel so you can just hang your headphones on it, and that really comes in handy, especially if you have a wireless headset. On the other hand, if you have a wired one, you can just wrap cables around it, since it has guiding rails on the outer edge. That's it guys for this time from me. Thank you once again for checking out the unboxing and review of NZXT's S340 Elite chassis. Feel free to toss me a thumbs up if you like this video, it helps me a lot. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the product. And of course, if you would like to see more content like this, you can subscribe to the TechTick YouTube channel, or you can just check out some of my other videos from before.